My name is Riad Farah. I'm a biomedical engineer at St. George Hospital. I'm also a consultant for several hospitals specialized in medical equipment technology, hospital architecture, and several things related to the hospitals. I would like to discuss our experience with telemedicine. Is my voice okay? Can you hear me well? Okay. So I wish to share our experience with telemedicine. Telemedicine is actually using, as you know, communication for medical reasons. So we may use telemedicine for just like video conferencing, or we can connect some medical equipment and share some medical information from one place to another. The experience that we have is between St. George Hospital, which is a university hospital situated in Beirut. It's a university hospital. It has all the specialties. All the physicians are available in the hospital. And with another hospital, which is Notre Dame de Paix, which is in Riad, that's in the northern side of Lebanon. Although Lebanon is small, but if you want to commute between the northern side of Lebanon to Beirut, you need sort of like 2 hours and sometimes maybe 3 hours. So the commuting and the availability of physicians all over Lebanon, maybe it's a problem. That was the main reason for the need for telemedicine. The NDP hospital, they have relatively a smaller crew of doctors. That's normal because most of the good doctors, they would migrate and go to the cities and work in bigger hospitals. Although they have the major ones, but they don't have the specialized doctors. Through an agreement between these two hospitals, we were able to offer telemedicine services. First of all, the hospital was offering the specialized advices to colleagues and doctors in NDP. The telemedicine was using as well for teaching and trainings. As you know, most of the hospitals have continuous training programs for nurses, for technicians, for workers in hospitals. So these advanced trainings can be shared with other nurses remotely without the need to leave their hospital and then coming to Beirut or some distance area. We also use it for second opinion, for some advanced cases. Sometimes they need second opinion for emergency cases, sometimes for operating room cases. We were also able to connect some medical equipment, advanced medical equipment like CT scans, MRIs, maybe some pathology images as well, and try to send the images to other specialized doctors and give them the second opinion through telemedicine. The medical standards, as most of you maybe know, that we need a minimum of 512 kilobit per second. This bandwidth availability was one of the major problems in Lebanon. I know it's something common in some Arab countries, but in Lebanon, assuring or guaranteeing a bandwidth might be a challenge sometimes. And the radiology medical images sizes are so big that we need to cater for that. For example, some ultrasound images, maybe for one patient, maybe it would be 15 megabytes. For CT scans, sometimes it goes up to 600 megabytes for MRIs as well. So these were the main concerns that we were taking into account while designing or assuring that telemedicine would work well. This is a photo of St. George Hospital. It's situated in Beirut. This photo shows that the hospital is situated in the middle of Beirut. So we have all types of physicians, and all patients, they have access to that hospital. The Notre Dame de Paix hospital in Riad, it's as well, it's a good hospital, but it's situated in a relatively quieter area. More farmers maybe, less populated, and for sure less availability of physicians as well for all types of specialties. This is the area where NDP is situated. They serve communities. Most of these communities, most of these populations are maybe farmers, and they don't have the possibilities to commute and go to the big cities. This is one of the examples of the conference or training centers. We have this conference room at St. George Hospital. We were discussing at that time staging and prognosis in cancer, and at the same time, that was the conference room, of course, before it has been visited by nurses. This is the conference room at the other side. So we use telemedicine for purely as video conferencing. It was very handy for that remote hospital to train the nurses without losing the time to send them to Beirut. This is an example of connecting some medical equipment through DICOM Connect, DICOM interface. For example, like CT scans or MRIs or other radiology equipment as well. They can get a second opinion from another advanced radiologist remotely. We can use it, or they can use it as well for dermatology, for ophthalmology. They can send the pictures for the other physician to see them. This is the OR room at St. George Hospital, and we also assisted during some surgeries remotely. The physicians, they needed to see the whole layout, and at the same time to be connected to the images in case, for example, they would like to see the patient, or sometimes they would like to see the images from the laparoscopy or other type of equipment. So the connection between these two hospitals is a bit of challenge and nice as well. They use the emergency room. They use the communication for emergency room as well. The challenges were the long medical procedures. Sometimes we need to open telemedicine session for a long period of time. That was one of the challenges. We had lots of cuts off, and this is expected in Lebanon, unfortunately. We had some unguaranteed bandwidth. Sometimes the connection drops off, or sometimes the bandwidth drops off, and then the availability of medical grade information sometimes is not guaranteed. But most of the time it worked well, and it offered good information and support to remote hospitals. And at the end, the services are not for the hospital, but for the patient living in remote places. We're now using telemedicine with connection with Bordeaux Hospital, which is Poitiers, which is the Centre Hospitalier Universitaire de Poitiers, that's in France. This is the different side of telemedicine. We get their second opinion as well. We try to get trained from them as well, and maybe sharing some medical information and getting the support from France, from other university hospitals. So telemedicine helped in supplying advanced medical information to remote places, and it helped us helping others, and at the same time getting help from more advanced hospitals as well. Thank you. That was fast, isn't it? Any questions? Any questions, please?
Not needed. Okay. Yes. You know, the patient commuting from his home in the rural areas to Beirut in 2 hours may take this might cost him just about, let's say, $20 مثلا.
Yeah,
let's say.
it's logical, or even less.
Okay. Considering the cost of doubling the doubling of resources, the doctor at the rural area and the specialist in the university area, the St. George, would it be at the end of the day cost efficient?
Well, this is a good question. Actually, every person that can commute and can go to the cities, they actually go. They would go for the hospitals that they know they're good, and there are lots of good hospitals in Lebanon. They would go for a specific doctor as well. Some patients, they go knowing that specific doctor in different places. But most of the population in remote places, they don't know a specific doctor, or they don't know a specific hospital, let's say, for example. Or sometimes they would go for a hospital for an emergency case and they don't have the time to commute and then lose the time, 3 hours, to go to the other bigger hospitals. Some patients, they would go to a specific general doctor at that hospital, and then the medical case is discovered to be an advanced case, and the physician himself is in need for a support or for a second opinion. And in that case, the doctor has two possibilities: either to say to transfer the patient, or maybe if he doesn't want to transfer the patient, maybe to treat him without being qualified for advanced cases as well. Having the telemedicine on hand, the doctors in this remote hospital, they would be at ease that they have the support from second and advanced hospital. Very few hospitals do this type of support. For us, the support was for free because it's a community hospital, and we got the equipment as a donation, and we were helping as a support as well. But if it would be for a cost, then it would be studied. And maybe some of the patients, maybe they need to go to the university hospitals or to the big hospitals instead of going to the peripheral hospitals. But bear in mind that most of the people, they don't know that they need to go to a specialized doctor or not. They just go to the closest hospital because they got used to that.
Yes.
Of course, the communication or the commuting from the north to Beirut.
I think 2 hours is nothing at all. I think 2 hours is nothing at all in some cities like Cairo. You can commute to your workplace in around 3 to 4 hours sometimes.
So you may need telemedicine much more than us.
Yes, yes I do. Another question, I'm sorry. What would you do in the situation that the resources, the specialized resources, are already overloaded? This actually happens in many countries, like my one, Egypt. The doctors working in the university are already overloaded. How can you tackle this problem?
Yeah, actually the biggest problem
we need it, but we can't.
Yeah, the biggest problem was to get two hospitals agreeing on telemedicine.
Yes.
I'm sure that some of our...
it's a nightmare, actually. Yes.
Yeah, it's the best thing is to have two hospitals agreeing on that.
Yes.
If two hospitals, they agree on all the details, definitely they will agree on when to support or when to read the, let's say, for example, radiology images. They would offer that, they would read the radiology images, but definitely not on the sake of losing the time of the original hospital. I mean, the hospital offering the services.
Yes.
They would find a time to agree on when to read the images and when to give them the report as well.
Yes.
All right?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.